Good evening, everybody. This is a meeting of the Nevada Unified School District Board of Trustees. It's February 28th. Welcome. It's great to see everybody here. I think most of Nevada High is here, which is nice. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we apologize for our delay in our start, but we're going to get going. Trustee Mack is not here this evening. He is traveling for work. And I will turn it over to Trustee Jacobson to report out our closed session announcements.
The board met in closed session on one item. With respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one pending case, discussion only. We will be meeting in closed session again after the meeting to continue.
All right. Approval of our agenda this evening. Nothing has changed in the order. It stands as is. So if I could have approval of our agenda, our board.
I'll move approval of the order of business for tonight.
Okay, so we have first by Trustee Millerick, second by Trustee Lametta. All those in favor? Thank you. 6-0 and 2 advisory. And then our consent agenda. The only thing extra on your table is not related to the consent, but it's item 12C and 12D, so that doesn't go with consent, but I just want to let you know that those are there. Anybody want to pull anything from consent? Any trustees? No? Seeing none? So if I could have approval of our consent agenda. Okay, first by Trustee Jacobson. Second by Trustee Pickus. All those in favor? 6-0 to advisory. Thank you. All right, and now we will start with our announcements from the board and our student board members. Hi, Blaine.
Hi, kind of a lot of stuff. I guess I'll start with, before the break, MSA Theater won gold at Linnea Theater Festival for our one act, which is pretty exciting. Very fun time. And then during the week before break, we had Valentine's Day. So we did our tradition of putting up every student's name on the wall of the cafeteria. It's really fun. It's like 1,400 names. It's neat. And then we had lunch activities. We had the marriage booth, the kissing booth, guessing jar, and we sold a ton of flowers. We had like 700 extra flowers that we ended up selling like most of, which was awesome. And then on Thursday, we had the student versus staff indoor soccer game, and the students won, which was cool. Coming up this week, tomorrow, we have Wellness Wednesday in the pit, and it's run by Miss Cortez, which always go very well. And then on Thursday, we have the Arts Council meeting, which is where MSA students come to talk about integrating MSA into Novato High School, and then how to improve MSA in the arts at Novato High, which is cool. And then on Thursday also, we've got a Dine and Donate at Hot Monk to support Novato High softball. It's all day. And then on Friday is MSA Theater's opening night of Cabaret. Also these people. We're doing 3 weekends of that show, so 7 p.m. on Friday is opening. And then coming up way in the future, we've got grad night. The deadline for $70 was extended to March 10th. And then in April, we've got the Lip Dub, which is a senior project done by a student, Hannah Skerber. And it's where a camera follows every student in the school around, like lip syncing and dancing to a song. It's just supposed to show school spirit. It's going to be pretty cool. And then also coming up, the weekend, it's on your tables, the weekend of the 27th to the 31st is the Showcase Spirit Week. So this is just a week to celebrate the arts, but also to get everybody, even those not in MSA, involved, which should be very fun. That's it, yeah.
Okay. Oops. Burn Oaks has been really busy, like we always are. Our culinary class went to Rustic Bakery, where we got to learn how to make croissants and baguettes. Our culinary teacher actually came the day after our field trip to come drop off the baguettes. They were really good. And we went on this field trip because some of our students in our culinary class have shown interest in one day owning a bakery. So this experience really this experience really opened up like their eyes and see how like a little piece and snippet of how it is like to work in a bakery. And then we also ran into some friends. we ran into Trustee Jacobson and Trustee Butler, and some our art students have started their mural projects. Right now they're brainstorming ideas, and they're just thinking about what they want to put on our doors, and they're just waiting to see if their ideas get approved or they have to go again and think about something else. Also, like I have said in a couple of past meetings, where Black History Month, each of our classes had to do something showcasing Black history. And so for our leadership class, they made posters and just learned about Black history and Black leaders, and they posted those all around our campus. Also, our art class, our art students use the story of important Black people, and they use their lines in self-portraits. So I have a little copy here. You guys can pass that around. But yeah, and then also the beautification committee has been working to update our display cases with the theme "We Are Better Together," and that's it.
Trustee Miller?
No comments this evening, thank you.
Trustee Pickus?
Yeah, I think the last time we were here, we were the Frozen show had not gone up yet, so it was a couple weeks back, but my family went to see Frozen, and it was phenomenal, loved it, so congratulations to the Frozen team. And additionally, had a meeting with Diane as well as members of the special ed department talking about kind of the progress that our department has made and things that they continue to work on, and I'm hoping that maybe we can get a more formal presentation and kind of bring some of the things that our special education department is working on for our students, bring it more formally to the board in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Lametta?
I just wanted to thank Carrie. She's not here, but I attended DLAC and does a very good job listening to our DLAC parents. So I'm very excited about the survey that they're working on to figure out what their needs are. So I look forward to reviewing the results, and I'm very excited to see our students here this evening. That's it.
Trustee Gasson?
I just had some really nice visits at our schools, our primary special education classes. Thanks to Chris Martinez for taking us around. That was a great opportunity to see what's going on our different sites. And then I also visited Novato Charter School for the first time. That was great, a great campus. And then today in Sacramento with the two ladies here, and you too as well. That was great. Seeing our state representatives and learning a lot about what's going on with the state budget and all kinds of legislative stuff coming down the pipe.
Trustee Jacobson?
Toured the same special education classes that was just mentioned, attended the MCOE board meeting and the School Fuel board meeting. At School Fuel, they discussed their gala. The date of the gala is 3/11. They're trying to get some final counts, so if you're interested in going, please do buy your tickets as soon as possible. Thank you. They also spoke about how they can support arts in different ways throughout our district, that the Tour of Novato is May 13th, and they're looking forward to that event and having all of our sites and families involved. And they're also doing some work with Leadership Novato, which is some great synergy between two different organizations in our city that do a lot of great work for us. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I as well toured the special ed classes, SDC classes around the district, which was a great, hadn't really done that before, specifically focused on those classrooms, and it was really good visits to see the great work that is happening. Unfortunately, you tend to hear some of the issues that might be happening in the district when you sit in this position, but it was great to get out there and actually be in the classroom and see how our kids are being really well taken care of, to be honest with you. So I thought it was really good visit for our trustees to see that. Attended Frozen Junior as well, so just a shout out to Mariah Fisher for directing that performance. It was amazing. Really done, really well. I was so impressed and know what MSA is going to have coming forward to them. Hopefully some great performers. And today we did go to Sacramento. It's one day that around the county, trustees and superintendents kind of converge on Sacramento. Some take the bus, some drive, but we spend the day at the Capitol. Today was part at the Capitol and part off-site a little bit. But we have organizations, the Legislative Analyst's Office, somebody comes from there, somebody comes from California School Boards Association, comes and speaks to us. So you have different entities coming to speak to trustees and superintendents just to say, this is what's happening, what issues do you have, what can we do for you? We heard from Senator McGuire also came and talked to us, Assemblymember Conley came and spoke to us, and he's just getting started. He just introduced 20-something bills that he's going to be working on, so he is full blazes ahead, and they are there to listen to us, and they really want to listen from the students. So Blaine and Stephanie attended as well. Trustee Gasson said she did, and Trustee Jacobson. So we had good representation from Novato, and we'll continue those conversations throughout the school year and into the next school year. So.
Okay, great. This is a Novato High kind of night. I'm so excited to have you all here. I usually read about you in the paper. So here is the Novato cheer claims its 5th consecutive national crown. I read you. Yeah, fabulous. And then these are all about the wrestlers. Are you here? Where are the wrestlers? Raise your hand. Oh, right here. Yes. Here you are. I read every single day. It's so great. So we'll hear a little bit about you in just a minute. But here's a couple other things we need to talk about. We got notification today that we got our community schools grant, $200,000 to do a grant to incorporate our parents and to expand services, and we're really excited about it. So we're going to hire someone to do that. So it'll be great. Open House San Marin on Thursday night at 5:30. Emily Gates was just inducted into the CMEA Alliance for Jazz, which is really fabulous. And let's see, the girls, San Marin girls are playing right now at 7 o'clock tonight on the state playoffs. And we already talked about school fuel, and I think that's all. It's because we want to see what's going on with the kids now. So who's coming up for presentations? Okay, here we go.
Hello. First, we'd like to thank the board for inviting us here tonight. We are all very, very excited to be here. We are all students from Novato High School. We represent specifically our artists and our athletes. Up first is MSA Theater. We are here representing every MSA discipline. This year is the 20th anniversary of Marin School of the Arts. We've decided to celebrate this year with an emphasis on the past, present, and future of MSA. Now, this is interesting, speaking of the past, present, and future, because our current superintendent, Miss Jan Latora Derby, was also our past superintendent, the founding superintendent of MSA. Similarly, our current principal, Ray Mayoral, worked very closely with Mark Peabody in the creation and development of MSA. We would like to thank you for your continuing support of the arts and athletics and Novato High.
Hello. We have our annual showcase coming up on April 1st, which will feature programs from all across MSA. Each and every program will be there to show off what they've been working on. We really hope that you all can make it.
This week and last week, MSA Theater has been in tech for our upcoming show, Cabaret, like Blaine mentioned, which is opening this weekend and running for 2 weeks after that. As students and as a community, we have taken in the mature content of this production and learned how to responsibly handle mature situations in a respectful and conscious way. Most of the performers that are here today are in Cabaret, and we would love to welcome you to join us in the PAC, not the CFA, for our version of this amazing show. Hope to see you there.
We will be performing Children Will Listen from the musical Into the Woods, written by Stephen Sondheim, which we had so much fun performing this past November in our beautiful Center for the Arts.
This song is especially important to us because the theme prioritizes student voices, which is something that MSA and Novato High take great value in. The choices that adults make will impact the legacy that we carry on forever. Children are the future, and therefore their voices should be heard. We hope you enjoy our performance and take it to heart. Thank you.
smile may last. That's what you can see and turn against you. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell. Children will listen. Those fearful, those deep, those dark, and you may lose the path you make. Those fearful, those deep, those dark, and you may lose the path you make. Those fearful, those deep, those just that you have to them. There are always wolves, there are always spells, there are always beings or giants roses. So into the woods you go again, you have to every now and then. Into the woods, no telling when, be ready for the journey. Into the woods, but not too fast, or what you wish you lose at last. Into the woods, but mind the past. Into the woods, but mind the future. Into the woods, but not to stray, or tempt the wolf, or steal from the giant. The way is dark, the light is dim, but now there's you, me, her, and him. The chances look small, the choices look grim, but everything you learn there will help when you return there. The light is getting dimmer. I think I see a glimmer. Into the woods you have to grope, but that's the way you learn to cope. Into the woods to find there's hope of getting through the journey. Into the woods each time you go, there's more to learn of what you know. Into the woods, but not too slow. Into the woods, it's nearing midnight. Into the woods to mind the wolf, to heed the wish, to honor the giant, to mind, to heed, to find, to think, to teach, to join, to go to the festival. Into the woods, into the woods, into the woods, they're out of the woods. And happy ever after. I wish.
How do you expect me to follow that? Let's just start by saying I'm so thankful to be part of a community that that supports each other. And if you have not yet seen MSA in performance, you got to go. My family and I go every year, and I'm amazed at the talent that we have on our campus. So thank you. That was beautiful. My name is Michelle Smith. I'm the athletic director at Novato High, and I have the honor of bringing my cheer team and wrestling team here to celebrate what they've done over the past year and maybe a few years before. The craziest thing is you see them here together. They actually practice together in the same gym every day as well. So they know each other pretty darn well and see how much work goes in together. So it's fitting that you guys are both here. So I'm going to start with my wrestlers. We've got part of the team here. This year, let's go. They're two-time MCAL dual champs in the last 2 years, MCAL tournament champs, and we also sent 3 kids, 2 females and 1 male, to state this year. Our male, Kakoa, finished 4th. It's the highest any Novato kid has ever finished. And one of our females, Luana, finished 8th, and that is the top for any girl in Marin County since 2015. So, congratulations to you guys. And then my cheer team as well tonight. They are regional and 5-time national champions. What I love also is for 2 years, in 2020 and 2022, they also won the CIF Scholastic Award. And for both teams, the spirit that they show beyond their sport and how much they support each other and other athletes and students on campus is probably the most thing that I'm grateful for. And as an athletic director, I cannot tell you how much I'm so thankful to be a part of a community with kids like you guys, and I cannot wait to see what happens when you guys go on to your next adventure and come back and let us know how it goes. So congratulations to all of you. And my coaches.
So I wanted to say that it is very fitting that we're up here with wrestling. They do their thing, we do ours, and we are both successful. And they see what we do, we see what they do. But this woman right here is irreplaceable. She has come to our school and she has energized our students to take a whole new look at sports. And just knowing that she's behind us every step of the way has been so priceless for us going forward each and every year that she's been here. So thank you. And I apologize because I wasn't supposed to talk.
We just have a plaque to present to the cheer and dance team for your championship. So congratulations. And you did it again. We expect nothing less. Leslie, can you take another one? Yes, she's trying to hide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think you got the picture, right? Yeah. All right, go for it.
Wanted to give our Novato High School students another round of applause. I mean, they're just fabulous people. So I just wanted to take a minute. You know, I've been gone almost a decade, and I had some trouble today getting into the suit. You know, I've gained a few pounds, and I've taken some of the old stuff out. But I'm just really excited to be back and to be part of this community again. I always refer to myself as the old principal and now the new principal. So in the short time that I've been there, I got to tell you, the students are amazing. The teaching staff is fabulous. Don't get me wrong, there's a few challenges that we're going to work on and try to make some improvements. But the administrators, Jim, Michelle, Allie, the entire team has come together. Rodney does a fabulous job, our athletic director. Everybody there is really doing a great job. And take it from an old guy, and I'm really pretty old, to be honest with you. But I'm energized, and like I tell people, I'm an old engine, but I still have a lot of steam. So we're going to move Novato to the next level. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you. We'll let everybody, if people want to leave, and then we'll bring up Hamilton in just a minute. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I put this up? All right, our next presentation is Hamilton School and specifically Rise Scholars and the great work that they do at Hamilton. And we have Jay Ferguson. Hi, Jay.
Thank you.
And Michelle Huff's in the audience.
Does this work? Hello. First of all, my reflections are that we did not practice enough. So it all goes downhill from here. But yeah, I could. If I need to, I will. But very impressive. Very nice. If you want better attendance every night, yeah, fantastic. Anyway, good evening, trustees, Dr. Derby. My name is Jay Ferguson, and I'm a board member with Rise Scholars. I'm not here alone tonight by a long shot. We've got a bunch of us here, including our board president, Michelle Huff. But on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you for having us here again and to learn a little bit about how Rise programming is addressing student achievement at Hamilton School. We ask a lot from a lot of people. We ask an awful lot from a lot of people to help us at RISE. So I thought I'd begin tonight by asking and hopefully answering a very simple question. Why Hamilton? Hamilton remains a challenging environment with both large opportunity and achievement gaps. Due to very low or very low incomes, opportunities typically available to most kids in Marin are out of reach, and of course subject to complicated conditions. What's really missing is the growth, confidence, and achievement experience through those opportunities. Additionally, and unfortunately, Hamilton students' academic achievement has been and continues to be abysmal, as evidenced by available CASP scores, the ones you can see here. Typically, high grades, 95%, is a sign of achievement. And unfortunately, this story is just the opposite. Our mission is to work with the school and to change this. Our mission is focused. As you'll hear tonight, we provide a range of programming resulting in growth exclusively for Hamilton students. Our decisions and our direction are always informed by what's best for the kids. Our opportunities are free and open to any willing Hamilton student and are both academic and reach beyond the classroom. Engagement with us teaches students about facing challenges, developing grit, and a growth mindset. It's important to note, we have tremendous faith in the kids' abilities, and we know we're changing lives. Our success depends on some critical elements, volunteers. So whether it's through mentoring, tutoring, coaching, or serving on the board, 130 volunteers help us get it done at Hamilton School. Our key employees. RISE has committed to hiring a few key employees for their talent and experience so that they can build programs that meet our high expectations. Tonight we have Abel, chess director, and we have Neil, our athletic director, with us, and you'll hear from them directly shortly. We're also looking to hire an academic specialist to manage and expand our tutoring programs. And then, of course, donors. RISE programming is not cheap. It takes financial resources to reach our kids with quality opportunity, and we've left you with our budget for next year so you can get a sense for what we're talking about. Our mission and the kids are compelling and our programs are impactful, so we've been able to fully fund our mission to date, but it's going to be difficult to sustain. We're always looking for new donors, more stable funding with partners to continue our work, and we'd like to include NUSD as a valued financial partner as well. Also at RISE, it's been our hope that we could help develop a culture of achievement and a love of learning throughout the school. Unfortunately, academic achievement remains elusive. RISE is pleased to continue, happy to continue with our mission, but we would also like to partner with NUSD to improve academic performance across the school by embracing approaches known to have success in similar communities. We can't continue to leave so many kids behind. With that said, we want you to briefly hear directly from those running the RISE programming. We'll also introduce a couple of students, and then we'll have time to answer any questions you might have. So first up, we have RISE Interventional Programs. Amy Wilcox is also a RISE board member, and with her husband Kirby, designed and now manage our RISE in Reading and RISE in Math programs.
Good evening, trustees and Dr. Derby. As you just heard from Jay, too many Hamilton students test below or far below grade level in reading and math. In 2022, 83% of the third graders were 1 to 3 grades behind in math, and 69% of them were 1 to 2 grades behind in reading. The problem is that students who are behind by the end of third grade have very little chance of catching up because the foundational reading and math skills are not taught after third grade. The Hamilton third graders who are behind will then move on to the fourth grade without the skills they need to learn the fourth grade curriculum, and so on and so forth through middle school. But there's more at stake here than just academic achievement. The students who are one or more grades behind are dragged down by frustration, overwhelm, and low self-esteem. Consequently, they often disengage from their education. But RISE has found a way to reverse this trend. In fall 2021, we instigated an interventional reading program for second graders, and this year we added third graders. In fall 2022, we launched our math interventional program for third and fourth graders. Kirby.
Against the odds that you have heard, both of our programs have proved to be extremely successful in helping almost every participant achieve grade level. You can see from the statistics that last year, 92% of our 25 second graders in RISE in Reading, who started 1.5 to 2 years behind, achieved grade level. This year, 92% of our second and third graders, who started 1 to 3 years behind, are on track to reach grade level. In RISE in Math, 90% of our 47 third and fourth graders, 90%, who started 1 to 3 years behind, are on track to reach or exceed grade level. So on top of all this, all of our 2021 tutors returned, and all of our students run to the RISE classroom. They walk back, but they run to it. They love the programs. And the teachers appreciate how much we're helping their below grade level students. Let me introduce Gina Schilling, a second grade teacher at Hamilton, who will tell you a bit about her experience with RISE in Reading.
Hello, I'm Gina Schilling, and I work in Hamilton School. My students love RISE in Reading. Every Tuesday, my students are so excited to get to read with a one-on-one tutor all for themselves. The RISE in Reading classroom is always buzzing with excitement, with nonstop reading, and a lot of praises from our amazing and friendly tutors. When I walk into the room, my students are excited to pull me over to listen to their reading and see how many words they could read now. I also receive detailed weekly assessments for myself and for their parents. So far, my students have jumped up 3 to 7 F&P reading levels so far. One girl who did not speak in class since kindergarten, her best friend told me, "Mrs. Schilling, do you hear her? She sings when she reads." She does. And my newcomer, who came from Fiji, who could not read in August, can now read at the end of the first grade level. Hamilton Elementary would love to continue our partnership with RISE in Reading, because it really does take a village to support effective early literacy and to make it fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Very nice. So due to the success, Jay mentioned this briefly, but due to the success of our programs and the continuing needs of the students, our plan for next year is to hire a full-time academic specialist to manage and expand our programs and to help with the academic portion of our summer school, which you're about to hear about. Thank you so much. Now let me introduce to you Abel Telemontes, our chess director.
Good evening, everyone. And I think the hot seat is on over here. And just so you know, the chess clock has 1 minute each for each player. So good luck with that. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to come up here and talk about the Hamilton chess program. My name is Abel Telemontes. I'm the chess director at Hamilton. You may start. And I'm excited because the program serves 150 students every week through our lunch programs that are open and free to any Hamilton student that wants to come play. And our after-school program, which focuses on competitive chess training. It's a more structured learning environment. And one of the exciting things about the program is that the chess is the vehicle we use to sort of build other life skills. So although chess improves analytical skills, it also does a lot for social skills. And we do that through what we call the 3 C's: character, confidence, and community. We build character because we teach them the value of chess in learning from their mistakes, in practicing good sportsmanship. Confidence, because one of the things that chess does is it self-empowers kids. And we really focus on the value of practice and doing your best always. And definitely community. One of the great things about the chess club at Hamilton is so many kids come to the club as sort of a safe space where friends come and gather, eat their lunch, talk about school while playing chess. And we definitely have a community of chess players on the campus, and it's really beautiful to see. And some of the accomplishments of the Hamilton chess team is last year we went to the state championship where we took first place in our section. We also went to the grade level championship where the team took first place in their section. And this year, actually this very Saturday, the Hamilton team is playing in the San Francisco Scholastic Championship. We'll have about 16 players playing in that. The state championship is the beginning of April, so we'll have a team coming to do that. And that's one of the slides was our lunch program, where just kids just eat lunch and play chess, and it looks like the whole school knows how to play. And one of the things we're really excited about is in mid-April, April 20th through the 24th, the Hamilton team is going to go play at the K-8 Nationals in Austin, Texas. So we're really excited for that trip, for the kids that practice and work so hard every day to take them and compete at the highest levels there is. It's going to be really exciting for us. So we're excited and excited for the kids. And one last thing for me is you go to any chess tournament anywhere around the country, it's probably one girl for every 15 boy players. At Hamilton, nice game. At Hamilton, half our team, half the participants are all girls. So we're looking forward to sort of showcasing what we have at Hamilton, reducing the stereotypes of what chess players are, and we're honored to be able to represent that. So I will pass it off to Coach Neal, who is our athletic director.
He needs a picture. That's good.
Okay, so she's got the camera. I want to memorialize what just happened.
Did you get a photo too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Woo.
We need a photo.
You want one this direction?
Yeah, I want one that direction.
Okay, can we one more? Apparently, this never ends.
Talent and courage.
I should have had some soccer players up here play a game, right? Jeez, I can't beat that. Well, hello, trustees. Good evening, and Dr. Derby, thank you for having me. As mentioned, my name is Neal Kanan, and I am the athletic director. It's been an honor and privilege to be tasked with this position to fulfill Rise Scholars' philosophy, so thank you so much. My previous experience as a classroom teacher at Marin Catholic to athletic director and dean of students at St. Hilary School has prepared me well. This school community deserves all the same opportunity any affluent school might have. That's why I'm here. That's why I chose to make this move. And that's what we have here at Hamilton: opportunity and growth. Born and raised in this area myself, my parents worked so hard that my brother and I were able to have the same opportunity as my peers. Through academics, extracurricular activities, and a close-knit social network, they gave me that chance. My parents and my community provided a safety net. We want to give our students at Hamilton School that same chance. This year, we've created an athletic program that serves 2nd through 8th graders. We believe that starting early and providing a quality program will prepare our students to be able to participate in athletics in later years. We are trying to level the playing field and create equity so that our students have confidence to know how to run, play soccer, shoot a basketball, whatever it may be. By the time they enter high school, our student athletes will be confident to join a team, which ultimately will lead to a higher rate of academic success. We have created a sports program based on inclusion. Not all of our students come to us to improve as athletes in their particular sport. They come to us for a safe place. A byproduct of being involved, they become better athletes, but more importantly, better people. If you ask any of our kids, they would probably describe sports as fun. Sports is not only fun, it's life-changing, it gives them a sense of belonging, and it helps them gain confidence in their overall abilities. We want to make sure and give our kids the access and resources to play sports, especially in underserved communities. Our facilities need to match our enthusiasm and dedication, and we believe that our student athletes will be successful in high school because of the life lessons learned with us. I'd like to bring up Miss Vanessa Persak, who is a parent of a third grader, and she would just like to say a few words. Thank you, Vanessa.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. So my son is a third grader at Hamilton, and backstory, Neil and I went to high school together, and I saw him at our auction last year, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you had kids at our school. And he goes, no, I'm the new athletic director. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And when I get to tell my friends that have other students at different Novato elementary schools, I'm like, oh, my son's doing basketball and soccer, and it's after school, and it's free. And they're like, how is that possible? And I said, because of Rise and Hamilton, and my son is thriving with after-school sports. It gets him off the iPad. It gets him active and engaged with friends and coaches, and he's just thriving, and he absolutely loves it. And I am so happy that I'm part of a school and a community that I get to have this benefit for my son. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Luke Persak, remember that name. He's the future of sports in Novato here. Next up, I'd like to introduce Larry Caillé-Labeau, who is a student athlete and scholar. Come on up.
Hello, it's so good here to be here this evening. I wrote a speech that I'd like to read to you guys. Hamilton athletics were truly beneficial for me. Throughout my 7th grade year, I took part in soccer and cross country. These athletic programs allowed me to grow from a semi-talented scholar to a determined, committed student athlete. Before this, I didn't really have any goals, and I was just living day to day, struggling to find motivation to follow anything in my life. This change occurred when I was exposed to an opportunity where I was able to grow along with my peers. I now dream to where it seems impossible to someone who just left those dreams on their pillow. I can't wait to showcase and improve upon my talents at the next level in life. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Larry. As you guys can see, we have a great community behind us. We've got great kids, great athletes, and we're so lucky to be part of this. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
And I'd like to introduce you to. Hello, good evening, trustees and Dr. Derby. I'm Michelle Huff, as Jay said, board president of Rise Scholars. And where did I find these people? I mean, come on. I hope you understand that our board and also Kirby are all volunteers, and we have hired 2 full-time people. I'm here to talk about Summerhawks. So, targeted interventions such as small group instruction, one-on-one tutoring, and summer enrichment programs are imperative in improving academic outcomes for our students. Summerhawks is a 5-week academic enrichment program for Hamilton schools rising 2nd through 8th graders, managed by Jay and I. Summerhawks offers extra academic support, targeted interventions, and individualized attention that is not available during the school year, regular school year. Originally intended to address loss of learning over the summer, the program has become much more than that. We look to support a culture of achievement and lifelong learning in each of our students. Our program is extremely robust, full of inspiration, mentoring, a lot of effort, and experiences. Mornings are mostly academic, emphasizing math, reading, and writing, and each week robotics and STEM challenges. After lunch, students have art, chess, athletics, coding, and our unique Keys to Success program, which is rich in lessons on teamwork, grit, self-learning, delayed gratification, and growth mindset. For middle school, we work on financial literacy, choosing a job from actual job listings, calculating taxes, working through a budget, choosing an apartment to live in, and of course, we teach the miracle of compound interest, Jay's favorite. Each year, we try to add new elements to the program. This past summer, we asked middle school to write resumes based on their today. Then we asked them a week later to write another resume based on their future and who they might be by the end of high school. Their interests, accomplishments, clubs, jobs, planting the seed for a future. We have had great success at Summerhawks with engagement and improving attitudes towards learning. When surveyed, 95% of the kids said they want to come back to Summerhawks. We have also had great success in improving academics. Our students came to us last year on average 1.5 years behind in math. In middle school, some of the kids were 2, 3, and 4 years behind in math. Over the 5 weeks and 30 math sessions, our students experienced almost a full year of grade level gains in math. Significant gains were also made for the younger students in reading levels. What works for us? We require students to complete an application for Summerhawks promising to be engaged as learners. We have small class sizes, around 12 to 15 students, and we commit to meet kids where they are. With 18 total staff and 26 plus volunteers, it is not unusual for us to have a 3 or 4 to 1 student to instructor ratio in the classroom, where individualized instruction happens. When finished, we're quite exhausted, but also exhilarated with the impact we make, and we love having visitors. So please consider dropping by this summer. Now I'd like to introduce you to Tammy Peterson, who is also my sister-in-law, RISE board member and co-founder of the Mentor program 8 years ago.
Thank you, trustees, Dr. Derby, for having us. It's an honor to be here. As you just heard about all the programs that RISE provides to the students at Hamilton, one thing reoccurs, and that is that they all promote mentoring in some degree or another, whether it's through tutoring, coaching, or fostering the culture of learning. Mentor Hamilton is in its 8th year on campus, mentoring one-on-one. In this program, students are matched with a caring adult from our community that are vetted and approved by NUSD. We have a mentor center where the students and mentors meet once a week during lunch or after school. They get to talk, play games, do arts and crafts, or anything that the students want to do with their mentors. Mentors are not required to push academics, but really are there to foster relationships and to encourage all their mentees to take part in any or all of these RISE opportunities. This program provides a positive adult in the life of a child and is often the best part of the school week for these students. Mentorship builds social and emotional support, confidence, and resilience. We can all use a mentor, right? Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce to you a young man who I met about 6 years ago on the cross-country field with Mike Thomas, Jonathan Rodos.
Good evening, trustees and Dr. Derby. Being involved in the RISE program at Hamilton for the last 6 years has changed the trajectory of my life. At Hamilton School, I was on the soccer team, the cross-country team, the track and field team. I had a mentor and was in the scholars program and the chess program. I attended Summerhawks and have volunteered at Summerhawks for the last 3 years, and I will have a full-time job with them this summer. I was a good but not great student at Hamilton, and they saw potential in me. I am now going to be the first in my family to graduate from high school and go to a 4-year university. Other news is I have been accepted to Seattle University's engineering school with a full scholarship for 4 years. So this would not have happened. This would not have happened if I had not been involved with RISE Scholars Program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Great kid. Real quickly, by way of closing, I wanted to share with you 3 quotes from a commentary published in the Wall Street Journal last week by former New York City Mayor and education philanthropist. You all know probably Michael Bloomberg. His article was titled, "Summer School Can Remedy Learning Loss." When you read his piece, and you really should, by way of summary, this is what you'll see. As a result of summer school, the percentage of students who met grade level standards in math and English nearly doubled or better, his experience. Philanthropists alone can't fund all the summer schools the nation needs. And lastly, we need education leaders across the country to support expanded summer instruction and demand that elected officials fund it, putting the needs of students first. Now, even though this article was specific to a summer school, as we presented here tonight, the message could apply to a range of educational programming, especially in a low-income community like Hamilton. So with all of that said, we're all here to answer questions that you might have for us.
Thank you. Questions, comments from the board? Blaine?
Not so much a question, but thank you guys for what you're doing. And like the story of like Jonathan, I think that's incredible that you're putting so much emphasis on extracurricular activities and helping students outside of academics. And when I was in elementary school, I was fortunate enough to also have a chess program. It was they were from Berkeley. It was the Berkeley Chess School. And I remember winning a state championship in 5th grade. And it's regardless of what I do now, it's doesn't relate to chess at all. It's playing chess totally stuck with me and changed my life. And I really I appreciate people like you so much for caring about the impact of something like chess on young kids. It means the total world to me. So thank you for putting your time into that.
Thank you too.
Anybody else? No? Abby?
Yeah, I will echo that. I'm so impressed by this program and the data that you've collected around not only the academic improvement, but also just the enthusiasm that students have for your program, I think is so important. Not every extracurricular program that has a focus on academics draws enthusiasm, and I think that's really phenomenal. A question about, also that you have 130 volunteers who return. I think we're seeing burnout in the volunteer sector across the board, and that's phenomenal. I have lots of questions about that, but we'll keep that offline. But in terms of the larger impact, the overall school test scores that we're seeing, is the discrepancy that the larger student body is not also participating in this program? Is your program not large enough to encompass how many students want to participate? I mean, you're seeing great academic gains, and yet the overall school test scores are not necessarily reflecting that. Could you kind of speak to that a little bit?
That may be partially the case. We're not getting all kids. But interestingly, what we find, and I won't pick on any individual chess players that are here right now, brilliant kids. And when they get their first taste of how hard work yields success and achievement, they want more. And they're vicious out there on the chessboard. Bright kids who, frankly, many of whom are behind a year or two in math. Well, it makes no sense to us. Now, we don't get into the classroom. We know it's large class sizes. We know there are a lot of issues. Some of the reading that we've done has us focusing on issues like small class sizes, start early, get them young, don't let go, because communities like that can draw kids back, so you have gains, but then they kind of lose them. So start early, don't let go. There are a number of ways to address performing better. There are a lot of approaches that work. Now, it's a stretch for a school system to embrace new stuff, but Promise Academies, KIPP Academies, the list is actually fairly long for communities like this to find approaches that absolutely work. But it's going to take a lot of heavy lifting. We were hoping in the very beginning that we could change these lives, addict the kids to the fun of learning, and then all of a sudden their scores would be better. And it's, we have to keep reminding ourselves we can't force that. We can change lives. We can get Jonathans all over the place, but it's going to take time to get the whole school to change. But the research is worth doing.
Well, and test scores don't always tell us what real learning looks like. So when we look at those test scores, we have to recognize that there's other things happening as well.
There's a lot happening, no question.
Trustee Gasson?
I just wanted to say thank you to all of you and for the impact that you've made clearly on so many kids. It's greatly appreciated. Very much.
Which goes back, by the way, to the volunteering. It's so gratifying to work with young kids who love to be recognized and they love learning. And when you're the volunteer and you're involved in that feedback, you have to come back. It's kind of addictive. You cannot not do it.
Well, that speaks to what you've created, because you don't always see that cycle, and that you don't always see that cyclical piece. So that really speaks to the work that you're doing and what you're creating. So, and also thank you to our student presenters. I would not have had the courage to get up and play chess, even if I was good at chess, which I'm not. But I'm very impressed, and thank you.
I'd just like to add one thing to what Jay was saying, is that we only started the intervention programs last year. So what we were finding in Summer Hawks was that the kids in middle school were somewhat apathetic, and what we learned over time was their apathy was a fixed mindset about learning. They disengaged from their learning because they were so far behind. And so one of the reasons we started the RISE interventional programs was because if we could get them at grade level when they're in second and third grade, they had hope of being at grade level if we could keep them that way through middle school. So we just started last year and this year for math. So we're really hoping that this is going to see fruition, going forward. Does that make sense? Yes. No.
I had the chance to tour Hamilton during the day. There was reading day and met some of the volunteers, and just the kids were just so engaged and just saw the interaction. You do make a positive impact. So I just wanted to thank you again. And also thank you for changing the face of what a chess player looks like. Just seeing these students in the audience really brings me joy. And I wish there was a program that I could have done like chess, just because my brother did have that opportunity and just saw how it made a positive impact. And thank you for talking about equity, right? Because that's an important piece. We know that when kids start playing young, they can become very competitive in high school. But when you don't have those resources, it's very hard to apply to, try out for JV or varsity. So you do have to start at a very young age. So I want to thank you for bringing that piece to this process.
Stephanie, yeah, come on up. And then put a plug in for the auction. Might as well, you're here.
Yeah, so we're partnering with Hamilton PTA once again for a Have a Heart fundraiser on April 28th. So I'll send you all an invitation. You can be our guest. Come, it's really fun. It's a great time because we have some kids come. We have tables. We've really tried to make our fundraiser about people resources as well as financial resources. So, and it was very helpful last year. We got a lot of our tutors from that fundraiser. So please come. It's exciting.
I just had a comment kind of grabbing on what she was saying. I think it's really important for what you guys are doing. Like, I think it's something that's going to stick with these young minds and young souls for the long run. And I just wanted to emphasize how I think it's like an amazing thing that you guys are really doing. And I'm really, really excited to see what it's going to grow into. So, yeah.
All right, good evening. I'm Stephanie Coe. I'm the principal of this wonderful school and a supporter of this program. I wasn't a part of the program. I wasn't supposed to stand up, just let them take it. But I feel like it just needs to be reiterated. We know how hard it is to run a school, to educate our kids, and it takes wonderful people like these guys sitting here, partnering with us and providing all of these extra much needed opportunities for our students, not just our low-income, underserved students, but our students to be able to bring them up and reach their potential. And I was lucky enough to watch this from its infancy, and I wasn't part of the visionary team, but I got to see it grow, and then where it is now from where it was, how many, 8 years ago? 8 years ago when it began with Michelle and Steve and a dream, and where it is now, and I'm just really excited, and I'm so grateful, not to you two because you're paid, but all you guys. I'm just so grateful to all that you guys do for our kids. It's wonderful working with you.
Great, thank you.
I just want to add one thing. So today we were having second level interviews for the assistant principal at Hamilton School. And what they did is talked about you. And it was like so great. And they say, Jan, we really just need to get them more integrated in everything we're doing during the day. It's just got to happen. What are we going to be able to do? So I was so proud. I am so proud of your work. I am so proud of your commitment. The dedication is beyond amazing. And the kids are showing it, and we're seeing it through them, and that's the greatest gift that you can give. So we thank you so much. And we want you all, everybody that's involved in Hamilton, up here for a photo. So please come. Jonathan, come. All of you in the back, yes. Everyone.
The kids especially. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Dave.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Everyone look there. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Sorry, Ross, you lost. You did good, though. You represented us. Thank you.
Blaine, Ross covered for you. You could have been at this table getting beat by this little girl here.
Not with my 5th grade skills. No way.
I got. Okay, we'll move on to our discussion, or actually non-agenda public comment. We have none, I see. Okay. 12A, this is our first discussion action item. This is a review and approve a board policy and administrative regulation in the 5000 series. This is all the student board policies. 5142, safety, and this is a first reading.
Wow, those are all really tough acts to follow. What a fantastic evening this has been with all the students. So thank you, President Butler. Yes, I'm presenting for a first reading new board policy 5142, safety and administrative regulations. It's a new board policy for NUSD. However, all the safety areas that are described in there are not new to NUSD. Our schools have been implementing these for many years, with the student ID cards, the release of students that's described in there, policy, the identification of a threat or perceived threat, playground supervision, playground safety inspectors are certified inspectors, swimming pool safety, and the laboratory hearing eye safety procedures. We have been doing those for a long time, and now we're just putting it to board policy.
Okay. I feel like it was kind of a catch-all.
It was a catch-all. It was. There's a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
and so I spoke to many people to say, we're doing this right.
Yeah, make sure.
Yes, I confirmed all that.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board? It's a first reading, so we will continue to we'll do one more round.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably put it on consent if there's no real concerns.
Yeah, I'll move approval as a first reading, move to a second reading.
Okay, so we have first by trustee Millerick, second. Trustee Pickus is our second, and if there are no further questions or comments, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Okay, 6-0 and 2 advisory. And this will go on consent on the next.
Yes, it
Okay.
will. Thank you very much.
Item 12B, this is approval of resolutions number 15, 22, 23, reviewing and approving Nevada Unified School District classified seniority list. And we have Franny Whitcomb, our Director of HR.
Good evening. What a fun night it's been already.
Yeah.
So before you, you have the final version of the classified seniority list. Worked on that diligently with Marcia Carey. She's a rock star in my office. And this is basically what we need to do annually just in order to make sure that we've got everybody incorporated. I believe it's people in positions as of December. I believe there's a date in December. So there's obviously other new people since then too. And so it is, I think of it as a living document. We like to approve it at a point in time, which you're doing tonight. And then it still becomes a living document as people resign and as we hire new people.
And employees are able to review their own status and verify?
It was disseminated, yes. And we followed the contractual timeline for that. And they've all submitted. I think we had a total of 20 comments or questions, 14 of which were like basically things that were little to no. It was just like a edit or correction. And 6 of things that were things where we had to fix an actual date or something like that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Comments or questions? Trustee Gasson.
So just a quick question, because I know this particular year, we're going to have to do the same as we've always done with certificated, the notifications on the 13th, 15th of March?
March 15th.
So we're approving this, and then presumably there might be some changes before that date, or how does that work?
So in terms of the notification changes under the law for the March 15th deadline, that would be for any positions that are funded through like our general fund. And I'm not sure that we are anticipating anything in that realm reduction. The reductions that we might anticipate are coming from specially funded positions, and those still follow a 60-day notification timeline.
Okay.
When they're specially funded. So that's technically about like the end of April when those have to be notified.
Thank you. I actually didn't know about the distinction. I must have missed it. So, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if there's no other comments or questions, we'll take a motion. Anybody? First by Trustee Jacobson. Second. Trustee Gasson is our second. This is a resolution, so I will do a roll call vote. Trustee Millerick.
Aye.
Trustee Pickus.
Aye.
Trustee Lametta.
Aye.
Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
And Trustee Butler is aye, and that is a 6 with 1 absent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to 12C, this is again another resolution 17 for 22-23, approving the total base rent, which is TBR, in the leaseback contract with BHM Construction for the track and field renovation project at Sinaloa Middle School. So these are the next 2 items. You have the 2 pages at your board table that refer to those items.
Hello, thank you for having me tonight. So as you indicated, for Sinaloa, we're looking for approval of the total base rent in the leaseback contract that for BHM Construction. On December 13th, the board approved BHM as the best value contractor. And at that time, we discussed the option of adding the rubberized track to the project.
Does this call for, as written, does it call for the rubberized tracking included?
So as this is written, it does include for the rubberized track. There you go. You'll see that we have the project budget identified at nearly $5.1 million. Project cost, which would be for BHM and then Field Turf, who would be on a CMAS contract that we'll bring back next week on the 7th board meeting. That gets us to $5,020,000. So we're about $70,000 under budget right now. Adding for the rubberized track would be an additional $403,000 if we kept the fence on the inside of the track but the outside of the field. Total revised project budget at that point, if we were to go with the rubberized track add, would be nearly $5.5 million. If we kept the fence on the inside of the track, still looking at the $71,000 credit, but adding $423,000 instead of the $403,000, and that gets us to $5,515,000. It's important to note that if we do add the rubberized track to the project, it adds 1 month to the overall project schedule. The general conditions for that are factored into both of these numbers.
So just to verify that what was in the Agenda Online or Gammon Online, that document did not include the rubberized track. So this colored copy has the rubberized track additional funding. So that's what we need to pay attention to. So when we read this, we were like, oh, okay, you know, this was considering, I think you have some footnotes in here in regards to excluding, or it's, yeah. You don't, it doesn't mention the rubberized track in here. It just mentions the asphalt. So we have to, I think we're considering that this evening. Is that correct? When we approve this?
That is correct.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a little bit for us, you know, just a little something to.
If you do decide to go with the rubberized track, we would come back on the 7th with that amendment to this contract.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Trustee Gasson, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm glad you said that because unfortunately, because I was out of town, I'm a little behind. So I wasn't following exactly what was happening. Having said that, for some reason, I cannot get into my head, why is it more expensive for the rubberized track when it's inside versus outside?
It's the fence that's now.
The fence,
that's the fence.
So we originally discussed having the fence on the inside of the track.
Well, that was going to be my second question. So the rubberized, so it's not just the rubberized track, it's the rubberized track and moving the fence.
Correct. On the inside, if we go with the fence on the inside of the track, that fence gets mounted on a concrete curb. And that concrete curb gets eliminated if it goes on the outside.
Okay, I'm sorry, say that again. I'm still trying to visualize
If the fence is on the inside of the track, but on the outside of the field, essentially, the fence gets mounted inside a concrete curb that separates the track from the field. If we relocate that fence to the outside, then there's no concrete curb. Correct.
Okay, because I couldn't figure it, because I remembered when we originally were discussing that there was potentially having the fence moved was an additional cost, and having the track was additional. So when I just saw the track, I wasn't tracking what that meant. So, all right. So at the end of the day, our original, I just want to go back for everybody's memory. The original amount that we gave to high schools was what, 4.25 million. We gave each high school that, and then we came back with the quote. It's the 5 million or whatever, and then now on top of that, to make those modifications, we're looking at an additional. Well, because we have to factor in two. It's going to be around $825,000 more.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
For both projects, yes.
Yes.
And a month behind. Is that on both of them? A month behind?
And then, a month. Is it total for both schools being adding a month?
So this
adding 2 months
This right here is just for Sinaloa. So it's 1 month per project.
per project?
Correct.
Okay.
For each project. It's 1 month for Sinaloa, and it's 1 month for San Jose when that comes up.
But they're being done at the same time.
They would be done at the same time. San Jose would start a little bit earlier than Sinaloa.
That's what I thought.
They expressed that they want us to start later there.
Yeah, oh, they did. Sinaloa said they wanted.
Sinaloa did, yeah. They have some testing for some student PE achievements or something.
And what is the start date for San Jose?
San Jose, in all likelihood, could start in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Pending weather. It looks like there's rain all next week, so.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, Trustee Miller, yeah.
Having run on asphalt and on dirt and on rubberized track, I cannot imagine having middle school kids run on asphalt. I think it's a safety issue. I think if we're going to do this, we have to rubberize the track, the same as we've done in the high schools. I think safety drives the consideration, and I don't like the price, but I also don't like the idea of kids getting hauled off to the hospital because we tried to save a few cents back in 2023.
Yeah.
So
I
I
agree
don't
with
like
you.
it, but
Yeah. We had this discussion, that's just why we're, anybody else want to add? Trustee Pickus?
I am also concerned about the safety, and so in the initial conversation, which happened prior to when we were elected, we had representatives speak about the dangers of running on concrete or asphalt and how problematic that was for health, and so, in my mind, the turf seemed like a natural alternative. And I know that scheduling is, central. It's like the elephant in the room is that we need to get moving forward. But the more that I learn about the challenges presented with turf, the more concerns that I have. And I don't know if that is echoed by other people on this board or not. It looks like, and I could be wrong on this, the last time the board looked at the environmental impacts of turf, it was 2018. And a lot of research has come forth since then around the dangers of turf and the impact that it has on our environment. I had a student last weekend who was trying to snowboard on Mount Tam, and I think the impact of the climate crisis is real right now, and we have students talking about installing EV chargers on our campuses, and we have a green team at Sinaloa doing work, and I think Novato is one of the largest, or NUSD is one of the largest landowners in Novato, the largest, and what we do with our land really matters. And the research right now is showing us that there's a huge problem, and that the materials, the synthetic materials that are made, that are constructed, that are used to construct this turf, has serious implications for our environment. And I don't take that lightly, and I think it's really important for us to consider that. And I have two things happening in my head right now. One is acknowledging that I'm not bringing this forth until the last minute, and we are on a schedule, and we have students who need a track. And so I hear that. And alternatively, we have a big responsibility to make good choices and to do right by our students. I also learned from a financial perspective that I know that New York and Boston have all banned synthetic turf in that state or in that city, and that there is legislation coming to California that will potentially impact turf on our campuses. And my understanding is that written within that legislation is that when our turf expires and we need to revise it or replace it or whatever that process is, that we are not going to be allowed to do that, and that we're going to have to replace that with natural grass or whatever our alternative is, and that can be quite expensive. And once we pull turf out that has been down for a long time, the land underneath it has been damaged, and it will be harder for us to grow the fields back. I'm still learning a lot about this, but there's a lot of research out there. And so I have hesitation moving forward with turf. And again, I say that recognizing that we need to move forward. So I don't know what our next steps are for this. And I guess long term, I would love to see us have a more integrated conversation around the rest of our fields. I know that's kind of a bigger conversation around irrigation and maintenance and a lot of different pieces. Right now, what's something I did not know is right now, Sinaloa, or Non-Toxic Schools and Organization, we have an MOU with them, and they are doing a 2-year pilot program with a man named Chip Osborne, who is known in the realm of kind of creating organic field spaces for schools, and he's done a lot of important work, and he's going to be with us for 2 years. He seems like a great resource that we could use to bring into this conversation. So I don't know what my therefore is, but I just have hesitations around this.
There has been some strides in the recyclability of the turf product, and I can forward you some information that I've recently received from Field Turf, who we would be coming back with on the 7th for the CMAS agreement.
Okay.
It would be up to you to decide if if it meets your standards. But as I understand it, there's some recycling facilities that are in California at this point that they're able to reuse or repurpose a lot of that material.
Yeah, and I think the reuse of the material is one piece of it, but when we wash the turf down, the materials that are problematic, when we have to clean our turf, that the material goes into our waterways, it goes into our ground, and it's not the immediate things that we see. We see a turf and it looks beautiful and students can run on it and they feel good about it, but I have concerns about the larger environmental impact and the heat. So there's a lot of pieces there for me. So I just wanted to bring that to the conversation.
Thank you.
And there's been some changes in that too. With instead of going with the crumb rubber, the fields have olive pits or cork that they use quite a bit now. So in terms of that part getting washed into the storm drain, they're more natural products. But yeah, the turf itself is, it's a plastic material.
Yep. Trustee Jacobson.
Abby, do you know, Trustee Pickus, do you know if the environmental concern is around that the material is a fossil fuel derivative or that it is leaching into the groundwater?
I think it's a variety of pieces. I think there are health issues for students who are playing on these fields. I think it is also about the way that it impacts the ground. I think it is about the water and the washing and how that goes into our water system. So I think it's a lot of different pieces. Also, when we remove the grass, it creates sort of the heat that comes off. We have rising temperatures every year. We're breaking heat records, and these turfs are so hot that students can't even sit on them. And we're removing, natural grass that can help our environment, and instead replacing it with plastics that are harming our environment. So I think it's a lot of different pieces. I don't think it's one particular piece. And I'm also not a scientist, and but I feel like it's important for us to have people come and present and talk to us about the impacts that our choices are having.
Anybody else want to comment on that? That was Trustee Millerick, and then Trustee Gasson.
We have lots and lots and lots of grass areas on our campus. This school district also, unlike in other towns, this school district maintains most of the playing fields that a park and rec department would in other. So your concerns are probably at the right place. This is something that we should be thinking about, because we are the ones maintaining Hammond Field, and there's a few that the city maintains, but we're a big player in this. Given where we are on this particular project, I would probably move forward on this, but I would love the conversation about are we just heating the environment up by making everything plastic instead of grass? And you know, so I think it's a balancing conversation that apparently is now starting in other states but hasn't quite started in California.
Or it has started in California, and it's in our legislature, and the conversation has started. And we, it sounds like we're working with Chip Osborne, and so and he's working with our facilities teams and so our ground maintenance teams, and so there's a real opportunity for a conversation moving forward.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah. Trustee Gasson.
Thank you for that. I actually hadn't had an opportunity. We had received an email message with all these links, and I had heard about it from before, about the environmental impact, and as with most things, there's always the pros and cons and stuff. And I know actually as a master gardener, they're always talking about hardscape and how it's, they don't want people to do concrete and do all this kind of stuff because of the runoff that it creates and the water can't absorb into the ground. And so there's a lot of, just general things that we need to kind of, as we move forward, think about when we're designing, like all that concrete at Sinaloa drives me absolutely bonkers. Having said that, and we have moved quite far along on the process, just for informational purposes. What is the difference in installing like an actual regular turf? I don't even know what is it called. Regular grass turf. Grass
versus turf.
Versus turf. Sod. Thank you. Yeah, sod.
I'd have to run some numbers on that, but we're probably save, close to $1 million.
You'd save it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because the other thing that I've always, I didn't dive into any of this, but, we've got water shortages. Right now we have gophers, which, it's so funny, there's just always because when, I think it was Trustee Miller mentioned kids getting hurt. I mean, Sinaloa right now, it's better, but, just having it the way that it is, you've got a potential for injury and stuff. So, anyway, there's a lot to think about. There's one other question. We received a couple of email messages within the last hour or two about CEQA and being exempt from having to do anything. Is that true? Or I never even looked. Are we covered with?
I believe we did do a notice of exemption that went to the board and has been processed at this point. Yeah.
Right, but so we're all good with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other further comments? Okay, so this is an action item, and Trustee Pickus, you well respected your comments, so thank you for bringing that forward. Kind of in agreement, we are a little further down in this, but looking forward, we can do some more work on getting those comparisons of the sod versus the turf and the pros and cons and all of that. We can do a little more work into that. So we'll definitely make sure that happens. I know we've had that conversation before, but it's time to revisit it because the products have changed. It's just as John was saying over time. But also the environment piece is a concern, obviously, for you and for others. So thank you. Approving this, again, as John said, this will come back with asking the board for the additional cost. So for right now, we're approving the resolution for the lease-back contract. Oh, that's right.
That's this.
That's a minor detail.
Yeah, that's the second part of this, is if that fence goes on the
It's a
inside or the outside.
$20,000 difference between in or out.
Correct.
Correct.
I would do it the same way as the other schools and follow suit and put it outside the track. I would, just because that's the way and still make it available for people to walk the track, have a provision, which we've done. The community members can use it for walking. That's, I mean, that's the simple follow what we did before solution. Maybe that's not perfect.
If the fence is around the is that what you're saying though? If the fence is around the outside, I'm sorry, I totally missed. Yes. So if the fence is around the outside, how do people have
Same way
access?
they do at San Marin and Nevada High, they go through a gate and walk the track.
So then what's the purpose of having the fence on the outside?
I think the only purpose would be to lock it
Yeah.
after hours when nobody's around, so.
Okay, so
people
Some
aren't bringing their-
control of even somebody who wants to actually rent it, you know.
Okay. And then while we're on this, though, the extra money, where is it coming from?
They'll bring that back.
Okay.
I believe.
We're
Yeah, I think
choosing to not do something else. This is the conversation we had last time, which is really, what are we not going to do? And we didn't.
Pretty much what it comes down to.
That's what it,
You,
we need to
you
have this
have
conversation.
a few $1 million that's unencumbered. So it would basically come from program contingency. And then as we have savings on different projects, that would go back into program contingency. So that's probably the best way to look at it. I think we're going to bring you a proposal that there were two items, and it was the classroom toolkit, the money that was left over from that, I believe it was $1.2 million, and then the leftover deferred maintenance of $3 million. So what we will do is put together an item to have that basically go into a program contingency, and that is the pot that you will have to make choices on. The other thing we'll be bringing to you next week is there is a $500,000 increase to the HVAC projects for Lou Sutton and Novato. So that we'll be looking for money. Total.
500,000.
So that too will have to come out of that.
Okay.
And there was an idea to show you all the different savings from all the different projects, but I know that gets confusing. So I think the idea that you have a program contingency, and when we need extra, it comes out of there, and when we have savings, it goes back in there. And so it's the account that helps us be flexible with either savings or extra costs.
Shifted. Trustee Jacobson.
The fence, the proposed fence, what is the height of that?
I believe it's 6 feet.
So the fence around the San Marin track is like a 4-foot fence, 3 or 4 foot. It's short.
It's 4 foot, yeah.
Yeah, that's
4
what I
foot.
imagined, is it was the same solution.
I mean, I think if we're putting that size fence on, people can use it in a reasonable way, but a 6-foot fence is a different situation.
Yeah, and I think the 6-foot fence idea came from being on the inside of the track, honestly. And then when we went back to the contractor to get that add or that change cost, we left it at 6 feet. But that's certainly something that we can.
I would be amenable to a 4-foot fence on the outside of the track. It would save us a little bit of money. And it would also allow for community members to walk that track at, I personally know many people that walk that track early in the morning with their dog or with their child or whatever. That sounds
There's no
nice.
dogs on campus.
I didn't mean dog. I meant
Yeah, you didn't
child.
mean dog. I'm good. Yeah, Bobcat. My issue is when we passed the bond measure and talked to the community, we were directly asked the question, will those facilities be available to the community, not to play on the field, but to walk the track? And we said in this room, yes. And so,
Can we have it be that size of a fence?
and so I don't want
Yes.
to block the track from use from neighbors walking it, but I would like to find some way of controlling groups from coming in and not paying for their use. So it affects our revenue. And Lois, I think you said the revenue from the fields, or from at least our gate from the games, have to go back to field maintenance. You said there's some.
The gate does not have to. We can certainly choose to have it, but the rental fees from any use, that was Todd's, who's not here.
Right, that's what you
Todd
said.
was standing there last time, yes, that is meant to go into a savings pot to
So
be
we
able.
want to make sure that revenue comes in, so we have the resources to keep the resource available to everybody, school and community. But, so that's my memory
So
that I'd like to
One
share.
of the thoughts when we were first talking about this was the fence around the inside left the track available to the public and yet protected the turf, because the turf is very sensitive to overuse and incorrect use. And then when we talked about getting a rubberized track, that same thought, oh, that's easily damaged. So that's when we started talking about the fence going on the outside, but the idea was to lock it and keep people out. If your interest is to let people use the track, it seems like it would make sense to have the fence protecting the turf, but leaving the track open for the public.
That's sort of where I'm.
That's kind of where I'm going with this conversation, because I'm, with all due respect, a 4-foot fence, I'm tiny and I can climb over the darn thing.
So why even have a fence?
Why, I mean, to me, I'm like, why, it would maybe keep dogs off, which I think is going to be a huge issue, but if we're really just trying to maintain and preserve the oh my gosh, I'm tired, the turf area, and that's it, and we want people to access the track and do, I mean, if it gets damaged, it'll be a bummer, but, you know, I would rather have the ability, people can come out and walk, stay off of our turf, fence it, keep the dogs off, because I'm already seeing dogs peeing in places and stuff on that. So that is where I would be with, as long as it's workable.
Yeah, Trustee Pickus.
So the turf is the field in the middle.
Right. Yep.
But the track around the outside is not turf?
Correct.
But aren't we talking about our track students running on...
It's a rubberized material called tartan that tops the asphalt.
Oh, got it. Thank
It's
you.
not turf.
Thank you.
I'm inclined to put the fencing on the inside to protect the field, and that gets used for, if people want, they rent it, and have the track available to the community. 6 feet. Yeah, it would have to be 6 feet for the. But 4 feet, then you might as well not put it around the. Yeah. Well, the owner picks up their dog and throws it over the fence. Well, there should be no dogs, period, on our campuses.
No, that's right.
Any suggestions, John? Oh, Blaine, sorry,
Is
thank
anything
you.
on the field? Like, is there any, like, you know how Novato High has, like, a football field on it? Or is stuff on the field, like markings like that?
Yes, there would be
If
markings, yes.
the field is like, because then people couldn't really be on the sidelines, right? If there's a fence right on the outside, you couldn't have, like, a lineman type situation.
Good point.
I'm also curious what hours the fence would be open.
John?
Yeah, so you do have some room on the, if the fence is on the inside of the track, there is some room for like if you're playing a soccer game, for everybody that's, not in the game but is waiting to get in, right, for the bench. As far as spectators go, that obviously that limits you a bit. One of the ideas we had was potentially putting a card reader on one of the gates so that could be timed unlocked, so that, if you wanted 6:30 in the morning to, 6 at night kind of thing, it could be remotely unlocked and locked.
And if that's not a crazy cost, because every time I see like a track meet, they're using the track and then they're running across the middle and they're stretching in the middle, like on the turf. So I think having a fence there is kind of just like awkward. Like they're going to have to go into the stands basically during a track meet. And I also think I agree with, if it's on the outside, maybe still having a 6-foot fence if it was on the outside, because again, it's like we're only having the fence there to keep out people that would probably climb it anyways. So I think a 6-foot fence is kind of more daunting than a 4-foot fence. But that's my concern with the inside.
Dolly's got a
Trustee
comment.
Okay.
I want allow her to.
Yeah, I actually prefer the fence to be like Novato High School in San Marin, just because it's more accessible. I did track and field, so we would run around the lap and then go run into the field and warm up. If people are going to use the track and field, why not also allow them to use the turf area? So that's my recommendation.
Okay. Trustee Jacobson?
I'm just passing along that Trustee Mack had preferred an 8-foot fence if it was on the inside, because then it's not climbable. So just to throw that into the mix.
With barbed wire on top.
With
Yes,
barbed
yeah.
wire and broken glass.
Yeah. Oh, and
All right, so we have a little bit of a mixed opinion. Do we need to decide that tonight,
I think
the fence and where it needs to go? I mean, I don't know that our.
Well, like I said, we're coming back on the 7th
Yeah. Okay.
with
Yes.
the rubberized, and at that point we would need to know, I think.
Yeah.
Board items are due here.
Trustee Pickens.
I'm wondering if it would be worth it to talk to, schools that have a 4-foot fence and see, does that serve a purpose? Does it actually keep people off the field but still allow the community to, could we gather some data before we decide the height of our fence and location of our fence?
It's on next week's agenda, so it's kind of difficult
Yeah.
to.
Well, and I think at the crux of this is that what we're trying to balance is the desire to have the public be able to use the facility, but also acknowledging that, we have to also preserve and, keep, and so it's, for me, it seemed like the biggest use would be allowing the public to walk. And I agree that having it inside may be not as attractive. But that's where we get to weigh what is our priority, preserving the turf interior, or maybe we get like a bigger, like those truck gates where, you can open them up when there's a track meet and people can go on. I don't know, maybe there's a solution like
And
that.
there will be a larger gate for vehicle access to get onto the turf either way. I guess in my experience, I've seen a 4-foot fence around the outside of the track. Although a lot of those facilities also have a larger fence on the outside of that kind of shut that facility down. So
That helped.
I know. I almost didn't want to bring it up.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Anybody else?
So we're
kind of stuck here a little bit.
Well, our community is looking for us to make a reasonable judgment
Yeah.
for the facilities that they're paying for.
Right.
And we're asking them even to spend some more money on our behalf. So I would err on the side of
Keeping it like what we have at the high schools.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
make it the same rules and the same sense. And
That's what
we do have some operational concerns that I think are real. I know Grounds has been frustrated with not just individuals walking the track. It's the 20 people show up for a pickup game, and then the fields get used, and oh, by the way, then the money doesn't come in to be able to replace them. And then a team who did reserve it shows up, and then there's contention. So we have some operational issues. That
We need
are
a
real.
facility coordinator. I'll say it again. Ding, 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 ding. No.
I wish I had thought of that.
Okay.
So I would rather
Yeah,
not ruffle anybody's feathers right now by making a whole bunch of new rules and creating turmoil in the community.
No, I'm
follow
getting to that point. I
suit,
think
yeah.
I know I said inside, but I think it's the outside is probably. Just keeping it consistent is what I'm going back to.
That's kind of where I am. I mean, that's not real scientific.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yes.
Does that mean then that people, so I'm not following, does that mean that people just walk on and off
I think
whenever?
so, yeah. Yes. Not, I think so, I think it does. Blaine and then
I'm
trustee
curious
Jacobson.
if the original plan was if it was on the outside, it would still be 6 feet, but if we made it 4 feet on the outside, would it kind of like cancel out the 20,000 difference from having it on the inside? Oh, inside's more expensive?
Inside's more expensive, yeah.
Yeah,
You'd-
yeah, because they have to put it in a
Yeah,
column.
the detail
okay.
changes from the inside to the outside because it separates the turf from the.
I just figured more fence.
The track, I know. I hear you.
My head in a concrete curb for my head to hit at the edge of the field where I'm playing soccer or football makes me a little.
Trustee Jacobson.
I wonder if that's really a good idea.
I'm wondering if, in the bigger picture of our safety plans, if cameras are on these facilities so that we can actually see if there's a group going to use it that should be paying to rent as a circumvent / workaround.
I think it would be one of those things that we would be sure that we added for that.
Yeah.
In the past, we've asked Novato Police to police our facilities, and they just aren't going to do that. It's not their job. They're about public safety. They're not about field use. They are not going to come on. I mean, they've been pretty clear that we misunderstood their role in the world.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do it, we have to have a plan of our own, not asking the public safety officers at the police department to do our job.
Okay, I feel like there is some consensus. We've gotten there a little bit. If I'm wrong, please say so. With the fence outside the track. And we're good to go on the rubberized track, and they will bring that back. 4 feet. Do you recommend 4 or do you recommend 6?
I would do.
What kind of dog do you own?
What?
I would do 6 and monitor when it's open and closed, but That way it gives you the opportunity to
But that's
protect it.
contrary to our whole conversation about our community engagement. Sorry.
No,
I still don't get a 4-foot fence is going to do anything to me. I mean,
I mean, it does have a visual barrier that in some ways might detract or create the illusion of security, which I've now said into a microphone.
Yeah, yeah. The idea is to make it consistent across the sites at this point, I think, is what we're trying to achieve. So the 4-foot fence would be the case, correct? That's consistent? Yes.
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
Well, in fairness, you asked his opinion. He said 6. I'm with 6 feet. I mean, I understand the consistency, but I think we're achieving that. And that if we ever, especially this is middle school. I mean, if we ever need to, like, have it closed off, that's a little bit easier to do. Is there like a bell going off? No.
Okay. I mean, I could really go
I think
at this
I'm
point.
the
I could
minority,
go
but I think
either
6
way.
feet. Since we're doing a darn fence, let's at least make a fence. So.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion or? Yeah, but you're basically saying we're on board with the rubberized track and you're on board with the fence around the outside. And does 4 or 6 feet matter to you? Of the size of the fence, that's height? No.
So if it helps, when we can bring back the option next week,
Okay.
we'll just write that board item so you can have the option, give you a week to think about it.
God, to think about a size of a fence, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe forget the
6
whole
is fine?
fence. I don't agree
Okay.
with 6. Part of this is that this is a community-funded place where they cannot now access.
I don't really see the difference of somebody trying to like climb it.
That's what I-
like. I think like 2 feet to somebody. The people who are going to climb it probably could scale the extra 2 feet. So I think on that illusion of security that a fence creates, I think, in my opinion, I would just go for the sexier option. And I think 4 feet lets us see more of the field.
I agree.
So I think either way, if the goal is to create security, I think the people that we're trying to guard against would climb it anyway.
No matter what, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Blaine.
Thank you for that.
Nice to have a criminal.
Yeah, all right. Do you want to make a motion? Go ahead and make your motion.
I'd like to move that we approve this with the fence on the outside at 4 feet, with the rubberized track.
Okay, so we have first by trustee Jacobson and a second by trustee Millerick. This is a resolution. So I'm going to go to that. Do we need to revise the resolution in any way? I'm
To be
wondering?
clear, tonight is just to approve the BHM contract, the turf, the rubberized track portion would be coming back next week on the 7th for your approval.
Okay.
And that was
But we
when we
needed
would
to
do the
get
resolution.
consensus on that,
Exactly.
even though we're not voting on that, we needed to get consensus in order for that to come back. So let's withdraw the motion.
I withdraw that motion.
And just state your motion again.
And I move that we
approve the lease.
Approve the leaseback resolution in front of us.
Okay. All right. I'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Millerick?
Aye.
Trustee Pickus?
With the caveat that we return to a larger conversation around facilities for the purpose of these, I say aye.
Thank you. Trustee Lametta?
Aye.
Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
And Trustee Butler is aye, and Trustee Mack is absent. So that passes 6-0-1 absent. Okay, now we're not going to repeat the whole conversation. This is for the same type of field. This is for San Jose. This is item 12D. You have.
I'd like to move that we approve this resolution.
Okay.
In the same manner as the last.
In the same manner as the last, okay. So we have Trustee Jacobson as a first. This is item 12D. This is for San Jose, the same thing. unless I'm wrong, right? This is the same.
Correct.
Trustee Millerick, would you like to second? Okay, thank you. Roll call vote. Trustee Millerick?
Aye.
Trustee Pickus?
Aye.
Trustee Lametta?
Aye.
Trustee Gasson?
Aye.
Trustee Jacobson?
Aye.
And Trustee Butler is aye, so that passes 6-0, 1 absent, the absent being Trustee Mack. Okay, we will move on to item 12E. This is This is approval of a contract with Rincon Consultants for addition of for the public address system at the San Marino baseball field.
Okay. This shouldn't take as long.
Shifting gears.
Yes. So just to catch you and the public up, if anyone's still watching, that we have an agreement with San Marin Coalition as to how we treat the lights and the PA system at San Marin High School. And there is language in that AR and in the agreement about PA system on the baseball field and the softball field. And what has been happening over the past year is a portable PA system has been used. And the coalition raised that as a major issue that they were not happy with, saying that the agreement outlawed that. We went to legal and had them do a full evaluation of the agreement and the AR, and they came back with a very clear thought process that directed us to this contract. We had an option of either putting in a regular, basically expanding our PA system that's on the football field with 2 new speakers pointed towards the baseball field, pointing down towards the bleachers, or not having any PA system at all. We figured the second choice was not acceptable, so we're moving forward with the first choice. And in order to install more speakers, we have an obligation to have a CEQA study done. So that's what this contract is for. Rincon Consultants worked the first time around on the San Marin lights and the whole change in that field, and so they're very aware of the situation, and they're willing to come in and do this just as quickly as they can. They are guessing 4 to 5 weeks. They're hoping to get, as you can read in the contract, some sort of exemption, so we don't have to do a full-blown CEQA study or remedy, and then we should be able to move on. The main reason that they think they can get an exemption is that it's in contrast to what's been done, the portable PA system, putting 2 speakers that point towards the benches. The spectators will be much less impact on the neighbors, and it's what the neighbors desire, so we don't see any pushback coming. So it should be a fairly simple process. That's their prediction.
Board members, Trustee Gasson, did you?
I think you indirectly answered my thought. Does the coalition know that this? Okay.
Yes.
And the second thing is, how much is it to do the speakers?
We don't have a quote on that yet.
Okay, so we don't know if it's like 20,000 or.
It shouldn't be that, because we're not having to install the whole system. They're just adding 2 speakers to the system we already have.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was far enough away that we had to do some extra work or something like that. So.
Well, they'll be wiring and putting in the speakers, but we have not gotten the quote yet.
Thank you.
Where is the announcement being done? From the press box?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a window on the other side of the press box?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe up on the roof?
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Seek a motion to move this forward, to approve this contract. Trustee Gasson is a first. Second, anybody? Trustee Pickus, thank you for that. All those in favor to approve the contract with Rincon Consultants? 6, okay. 6-0, 1 absent, and 2 advisory.
Thank you.
And our last item for this evening is the actuarial analysis of the retiree health benefits, which is the GASB 7475.
Save the best for last. So this is something you see every 2 years. We're required to have in our audit the numbers of what we theoretically owe for our obligation for post-employment benefits, basically our health benefits for retirees. So we give employee census to this organization, and they pull together using all kinds of various assumptions what it would cost us to pay off all our benefits on into the future. And so that is the number that they have at the very beginning, the total OPEB liability, which for the current year, it's $1.1 million. It's down from last year, and there's a couple of different things that change that. And for us, it was, I want to make sure I say it correctly, that if people choose not to retire, which these days, because of if you're not 65 yet and can't get Medicare, some people choose not to retire because health benefits are expensive. So if people stay on longer, then that's less of a cost for us because we only cover people until they're 65. So if they choose to stay until they're 65, we save money. Now, if they stay till 62 instead of 60, we again save money. So that's one reason it would go down. And the other reason, I think, which made up for a bigger difference, is we had a lot of younger people leave. And then they aren't part of the assumptions that are made. So our population of employees left us. And so that was a change also. So those are the kinds of assumptions that they look at. In the back of the report, there's a list, it's a glossary that can help in trying to read through it. I would not recommend that you try and understand this every single line, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to investigate and try and find out the answer if it's not something I can answer tonight.
And it's done every 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Miller.
Okay, there's some new members here, so Lois, you and I are going to have a little conversation, I think.
Okay.
Because from my view, I look at it at a really high level, you look at it at a detail level. So there's a large conversation in the state about employee retirement. And this district, along with every other district, puts in like 20% of whatever you get as salary towards that state retirement program. That's nothing to do with this.
Correct.
That's the state's liability, and they have to collect enough money to pay your retirement, yours and any district employee when they retire, either at PERS, teachers, or STIRS, or I got it backwards, right? STIRS is academic and PERS is other state employees. And that's a big chunk of money, and those are big dollars. The program we're talking about here is NUSD will cover medical costs and like a $200 a month payment.
It's a contribution
from the time you retire till the age you get to 65.
If you worked for the district for 10 years.
Right. If you work for the district for 10 years, then if you retire before age 65,
Correct.
we have a contract that says we will pay $200 or $300 a month plus. I don't know if it covers the health care, but it's that window of time. So your point is, if somebody works to 65, they contribute zero to this liability.
Correct.
If they retire at 60, then it shows up here as a liability that we promised that money for 5 more years until they hit 65.
Right.
That's this $1 million.
Correct.
So this is a really little number, $1 million compared to a $100 million budget that this district runs on. This is teeny weeny. The big number everybody talks about is the state's liability to cover teachers and public employees. And that is a big concern, and that's a big issue. And we
Correct.
keep finding that they want us in our annual budget planning to give a bigger percentage towards that. But that's not this conversation.
That is correct.
Completely different thing. So
That
this
is
is
right.
actually, Nevada's in a really good
And a better
position.
way to actually, another interesting point that I really should point out is
You're
that
the expert, so
well,
now that I
not
prompted
on
you a
this,
little bit, yeah.
really not on this. That the 1.1 is what we have to book in our audit. And there are some districts who actually fund an irrevocable trust trying to get up to this amount. You're trying to get a trust that the interest on it will pay your annual. So you have a principal, you leave it there, and you pay for your health benefits for retirees from the interest or whatever the gains are on that investment. Now, we don't have that irrevocable trust. It takes a lot to build something that big, so we actually do what's called pay-as-you-go. And if you look on page 2 of the report, there's a little chart at the top that shows the estimated costs per year of pay-as-you-go. And that is, I believe, what the majority of smaller and medium-sized districts do, is they just pay the benefit cost as part of their annual budget.
So $100,000 numbers here, is that the top,
In the
the table
future.
at top of page 2?
In the future, this current year, the immediate past year was $63,000 out of our budget went towards retiree health benefits.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so 63,000 is not more than a ham sandwich, but it's not going to bankrupt this district.
No.
Okay, thanks.
No, and the other point is there are some districts that negotiated lifetime benefits. That's a whole nother story if you're one of those districts. So the numbers would look very different.
I think the poster child was, I'm going to probably get, some school in the East Bay basically provided lifetime health benefits if you worked for them for like 6 months and then retired. You still had rights to their health benefit, and it basically forced them into fiscal insolvency.
Yes. Well, and our HR director.
Not naming names.
Our HR director came from a district where they no longer have lifetime benefits, but they did at one time.
Even for people who no longer work there.
Yes, that's the point. It's for retirees.
Yeah, you go, well, and you retire after 6 months. You go to work there for 6 months and retire. You did that at age 23. Now you have health benefits for the rest of your life on some, and so that money's not going to educate kids. It's going to some adult who is holding another job and doubling up on their income. Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's not us.
From the board? Questions or comments? This is approval of this report for this evening. That I said comes every 2 years to the
And
board.
we got into this position by being smart 20 years ago. The reason we're not in that other fix is we had this conversation and put bounds on this benefit. This was not an accident it's a small number. Bye, see you guys. So thank you very much. Pardon me for just rambling on. It's easily confused with a big number.
Yes.
Yep.
We are now off schedule. No, just kidding.
I lost the chess game.
Yeah. So that's why I let you go a little long. That's why I let you go. Yeah, I hadn't. No, thank you, Ross, for that little educational conversation. Thank you. Again, this is approval of this report. That's why it's before us this evening. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay. First by Trustee Miller, second. Anybody? Trustee Lametta, thank you. All those in favor? 6-0, 1 absent, and 1 advisory. Thanks, Blaine.
Thank you very much.
All right, we do have one more item. This is a staff report, and Superintendent Derby will be presenting this. This is actually very important, though, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'll go quickly though. Yikes, yeah. Okay, so you know that the state puts out a dashboard every year, and it outlines the performances by all the districts. So what we have and what we learned is that along with some other districts in Marin, which would be Miller Creek, San Rafael, Novato, and Sausalito, Marin City, that we were put in, this is a base year for like a new program improvement, which we've had in a variety of ways for how many years? A ton. So that is one layer of what we are doing as a district. So it's our whole district, it's San Rafael, the whole district. Then there's another aspect that is individual schools for additional targeted instruction. So what's really important is that you look at, there's some slides that have who's doing, what are the categories, and then you have backup information that tells you. So those are all the basic ones. So if you look on page 2 of your report, you can see this is for the base year is 21, 22. So this is only 1 year, and it's just for last year. And then wherever we go from here is how they'll measure our improvement and if we get changed up. So you can see that we met all of the priorities on the bottom of page 2, with the exception of pupil achievement, and we did not meet pupil achievement for English learners and special ed. So that is what, as a whole district, we have to look at. But the data that they look at is what's really important, and that's on page 3. So you can see our English learners, we got a score of low. These are new categories of what we used to have numbers and then met or didn't meet. Well, now we have low, medium, and high, and then how many are in each group, what are the percentage of the school. So it's a whole different ballgame. But so anyway, so you can see that we decreased by 21% for our English learners on LPAC. That's the annual test that they take. What we've also been learning now that we have a coordinator with Carrie, who's amazing, is that we weren't redesignating our kids and our younger kids at the elementary level. So she's already cleaning all of that up. So that's really good. The other thing is they looked at graduation rates. Now, we know that Asian students across the nation outperform Caucasian students, so we're consistent in that. But our English learners are only 69%, and that is considered low for graduation rates. And you can see that special education is higher than the English learners, and that's 73%. So this is another reason that we were selected. But look at our Latino kids at 84%. So that aligns with, that would be a duplicative count. It could be EL and Latino, or it could be just separate Latino. So it's a duplicated count there. So then you see our homeless youth, 61%. And then our economically disadvantaged, 84%. So we've got to get this in better alignment. This is the work that we have to do. Chronic absenteeism is just kind of making me a little crazy because this one is just a 1 year average, and you know that we've got COVID and we've got all the other stuff going on. So everybody that was selected as a total district has chronic absenteeism as one of theirs. English language arts, generally speaking, is pretty, the kids are scoring pretty well, but our math is really very low. And so you heard it a little bit tonight with the Hamilton team and the number of years the kids are below, grade levels below, and so that's a problem. The suspensions rates were low last year, and CTE was not even evaluated, and it has been in for all the other years, the CTE scores. So that's that. So the next page that I just want you to look at.
Diane's got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it just came up today, and I know you've told me before. The chronic absenteeism.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that how many? Is that? I think there's another designation of when you've missed way too many days of a school year.
So
is that the same thing?
Absences?
Well, I guess I'm just wondering. Truancy. Okay, so is that
truancy.
Same as chronic absenteeism?
Yes, because they don't. If it's unexcused, it's considered chronic absenteeism.
Okay, so these are unexcused absences.
These are unexcused absences.
I just wanted to, because we had some discussion today about the fact that, I mean, and rightly so, you end up missing school because if you have how many times my daughter has bad allergies, so she's out of school because we don't know if she's got COVID. I've got a COVID test, and so there's an elevation of absences, but this is unexcused.
Lois was talking to us this morning in cabinet about there is a range for our budget. There is a is it 3 years, 2 years? I don't remember what you said this morning. Now I'm getting right.
For this year, they're allowing us to average over for this year and the past 2 years.
Past 2 years.
Yes.
So, but that's for our budget purposes and our loss of the $55 a day. This is for generally, are the kids coming to school, and are you getting close to the 97%? We're not. We're not. We were just talking about that in cabinet this morning also, and we're even in the 80s in some of our schools. And in order to recover the dollar amount that we're allotted, we need 97% attendance, and we're at 92, 89, 93. I think, I can't imagine that any school district is not getting chronic absenteeism, and just all of us, so.
Well, that was sort of the point that
Yeah.
came up, is that, I
Right.
mean, and there's mental health day, the kid just isn't able to get out of bed to go
Yeah,
to school.
right.
There's a lot of contributing factors, and
So I'm not sure why they're doing that, but whatever it is, maybe they just want us to, you can only go up from here.
Just for fun, can I share that I have the number for one of our elementary schools? They're currently at 92%. The goal is 97.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like that frames it a little bit. It's not like it's 50% or something crazy.
No, it's not, but when you figure $55 per day per student, then that's where we are. And when we figure those numbers, I was doing the calculations for, at the last principal meeting and saying, this is how much this means when you're at 93% or 92%. And we want them to go up instead of down, so, yeah. Okay, and then the last page that I just want to talk.
Diane still has
Oh,
a
I'm
question.
sorry. Oh.
Are you sure?
No, go ahead.
So I know that at one point we were doing those days where you could come and do recovery. Have we been?
Saturday Academy or
Thank you,
something
Saturday
like that.
Academy. And I've seen a couple, I saw something, I think, for Nevada, not Nevada High, or maybe it was Nevada
I think
High.
it was Novato. I saw the same thing.
So are we,
San Marin is doing more because they have the former teacher that's doing it.
okay, so but does that then, that help some if we
It's
continue?
credit recovery.
Right. Well, no,
It
it's.
counts as an absence, or it counts as an attending.
What happens with Saturday school, if you go and you fulfill the requirements, which it has to be a 4-hour day, then they get to go back and remove an absence from the books. So yes, it does help this. It gives us the money, as long as it's done before P2, which is the end of March.
That's
Then
going to be interesting to see, P2.
The other,
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing in my experience, and you said something that triggered it for me. I happened to go into to my daughter. I went into her records, her attendance records, and she had all these unexcused absences. And I was like, well, what is that? Why? She was on the plans you get, when you're missing.
Independent study?
Independent study. And they hadn't cleared them out yet. The teachers had to do something. So it seemed like there was I just presumed that.
we'll hope that's done before P2.
Yeah.
Right. And so that,
To really remind everyone. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, it was because the teachers needed to do an extra step. I presumed it was just automatic. As a mom, I thought, okay, I've requested the independent study, she did the work, and so they're going to be fine.
And so once you turn it in, then the teachers have to evaluate it. They put a score on it, and then it goes back to the attendance office, and the attendance clerk has to
Right.
go in and clear those
That's
absences.
what she explained to me. But it took
Clear the
longer, and so I'm
absences.
just wondering too if there might be some of that. Not that they're not doing
Could
their
be.
work, but that, if you've got a week off or whatever, and you're trying to make that up, there may be some lag time on that as well.
Yes.
Okay, so, thank you, Lois. Okay, so the other thing is that, so what you have on page 4 are the schools and what are the categories that they have been identified for. And they'll be developing individual learning plans for each of the kids that are identified here. So you can see Hamilton has African American, homeless, and SPED, and Loma Verde, 2 or more races, Lou Sutton, SPED, Pleasant Valley, economically disadvantaged, San Ramon, 2 or more races, and then our secondary schools, English learners, and special ed at the middle school, and then English learners at San Marin and Marin Oaks, economically disadvantaged, and Nova Latino. You're missing Novato High. They didn't qualify for additional assistance. You're missing Rancho. They didn't qualify. You're missing Olive. They didn't qualify. You're missing Linwood. They didn't qualify for additional assistance. And so it's very interesting that those schools did not. And what is the rationale for that? Because they had, their percentages of students was more equal and there wasn't a disparity in the differences. And that's really the bottom line. Otherwise, because the math scores at Novato High and Olive has really high test scores, and Pleasant Valley has pretty high test scores too, but it's the disparity of the numbers of students in the category. So that's why. So who knows what will happen next year? You'll see when they do the dashboard again in January. So I just thought you should kind of understand what, overall what's going to be happening. We've already met with MCOE twice, and they'll be providing assistance to us directly for intervention, targeted intervention for these students.
Okay, board members? Comments, questions? Trustee Lametta?
I hope with our community grant, this will help us.
Yes, we do hope that. We do. Because you know what, Amagali, the parents really need to get involved in this and partner on what we're going to do for the interventions.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to work with Carrie with ELAC.
Yes.
There's been a lot of positive things coming out and the issues that they're bringing up.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I hope we can address.
Anybody else? No? I don't like this cell bar, whatever.
Oh, yeah, no,
Because
I-
sometimes a low really means a high, and a
Yeah,
high
something
really means a
means a
low.
low,
So I got a
yeah.
colored penciled out and colored. I was like, I really want to see this like back to the colors that they took
Exactly.
away.
Yeah, they took away the colors.
Which I thought was better.
Because low for suspension meant good.
Yeah, good.
And low
Look,
for
see?
EL meant bad. And it's just crazy. Yeah, I think they were
It's
trying
ridiculous.
to do something, but it was not.
And then putting us in different assistance based on this 1 year of
Yes,
is
1 year.
not working for me. So
Yeah, no, I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Okay. So this was just a staff report, educate us a little bit and just put it in front of us. We should be getting this every year item, so that will be a regular. And we'll get back on track coming out of COVID. So, all right, if there's no other comments, anything, we will adjourn this meeting. Our next regular scheduled board meeting is next Tuesday, March 7th. And we're going to go back to closed session.
Can we go back into 102? I think it's
Yeah, we'll go back, yeah. So this meeting's adjourned and we'll go back into closed.